welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the PiGosaur Monday number 6. I'm, of course, your side VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to another PTR tournament. Again, the PiGosaur Monday, alongside many other weekly events, have been held here on the PTR, and we will embrace that once again. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we have our first series here of the night. We are jumping into our PvP. Oh boy, we're going to be jumping into Hecate to kick things off. For those that are curious, one moment, as we do head into this. For those that are curious, of course, the event is held on the PTR server, but there are only 6 maps. There are only 6 maps in the PTR, and we do have vetoes for a best of 7 instead. As it looks like we are going to be setting up. Hold on. There is US West. Okay, beautiful. So it looks like we're going to have to remake. Looks like we will be remaking here on US West. All good. But yes, because we're setting up for best of 7s, we will be having one extra map. That one extra map is going to be Hecate. Hecate is added to the map pool. Is an old map from years gone by. Is not going to be a part of the new season. Bear that in mind. Is not going to be a part of the new season. But it is still available here if the players do veto through it and they do allow it to pass through. So game 1 is going to be Hecate. We will be remaking... Oh, pretty sure? Yeah. we remake. Assuming ChrOmawa is from the land of the... from the Americas. But regardless, welcome one and all. Again, the bracket is quite stacked. There's a lot to go over as well. What I'm excited by, though, is I believe we're seeing a debut from one key player, and that is MaxFax. I mean, because of the break that we have, because of the pause that we do have here at the start of the series, we can take a moment to have a look at the bracket itself. We can have a look at the bracket from the top. It's so big. There's a lot of players here, a lot of matches. We have at the very top MaxFax. I think this is MaxFax's first PiGosaur Cup. I know that it was very prevalent in ESL Open Cup Americas, and I think MaxFax may have played in an Orsasaurus Cup. But yeah, I believe this is his first time competing in the PiGosaur Monday. So great to see MaxFax. He's the #1 seed in the entire tournament, and we'll see if he can bring it home. And we'll see if he can win a weekly here this week, or this tonight, I should say. We'll see. What I mean by that is, of course, last night we were casting the Wardy TV Monday, and we saw that MaxFax was taken out in the finals versus Trap. I recommend the VODs. It was a crazy series and a crazy finals. Likewise, I didn't get to tune into the KSRC, the Kalaris Rotterdam Steadfast Cup, but apparently MaxFax also went down in the quarterfinals there against Australia. There might even be a rematch. We might see MaxFax versus Australia have a rematch here tonight. I would love to see it, especially because we didn't get to. It didn't get casted. It did not get casted. I was actually going over the VODs. I was checking Rotterdam, Steadfast, and Zombie Girl, because the 3 of them were casting in English. I checked all of their VODs, and no one casted Australia versus MaxFax. I was like, what the hell? what's going on? So no one did cover it, no one did cast it. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have seen what the hell happened in that PvP, and maybe we get to see a rematch here and we get a glimpse of what occurred last night. I would hope so. I would hope so. As we are going to be remaking and getting it. Hello, Cyberjohn in the chat. Hello, I see Psycons as well. BBQ. Cotado, bienvenidos. Shema. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you happen to be. Good to see you. And I do apologize for the delayed start to the series, but it's okay. They're just sorting things out. They're figuring out how to host on a different server as well. For those that are curious, on the PTR, there are only 2 servers. On the PTR, there's US West and US Central. Only 2 servers on the PTR, so you are quite limited in kind of what servers you can select and how you can play. which is not ideal, but it's okay. We can still work with it. It's all good. We can still host events at least and work around that. But here we go. We're jumping into the first series of the night, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Hecate, we have the red Protoss player. It is ChrOmawa. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the teal Protoss representing himself, currently teamless. It is LunaSea. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is time to get your Gamma going. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. We are here in the round of 32, and we'll see who can advance on into the next round. We can go over more in depth into the rest of the bracket after this series, when we're a little bit less preoccupied, a little bit less distracted. We can focus on the bracket thereafter. For now, we're going to be settling in. As I was attempting to explain earlier, we are loading into Hecate. Again, this map is not a part of the new map pool. It is not a part of the new season of maps either, but this is just a filler map. Basically, it's just a filler map here, as we did need an additional map to actually conduct best of sevens on the PTR. We did see that some tournaments are actually just allowing a map to be duplicated, or like to reuse a map if it does go to that kind of setup or anything like that. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of open cups have agreed to use Hecate instead. The reason for that is no one wanted to use a current map in the map pool. No one wanted to use a map like, I don't know, Site Delta or Alcyone or any of the other current maps, Amphion, because that would just, I mean, because it's a current map, because everyone's used to it, everyone would play on it. Everyone would play on it, so they wanted to get rid of that factor. They wanted to make sure we got as much testing as possible on the new maps instead. As a result, I think this is like the second or the third time in over a month that we're actually casting on Hecate. Like, this is a very uncommon map, thankfully, right? Like, thankfully, not many people have played on it. That is different here, though, as it is the first game of this PvP. ChrOmawa going for a proxy pylon here towards left-hand side. Meanwhile, LunaSea also setting up for his own scout towards the left, Wiz checking his scouting, but will not quite come across the pylon, as it is going to be a proxy Twilight Council. Okay, you have my attention. Now, with a Twilight Council like this screams Dark Templar. This screams DTs. We'll see if ChrOmawa does embrace the proxy Dark Templar, or if he goes to something else a little bit more out of the norm. Meanwhile, LunaSea is coming in for a scout, and he did confirm the 2-pylon setup. Okay, so this is actually a third pylon. Now, this is inefficient. This is a bit of an inefficient start here by ChrOmawa, but it is that much more hidden as a result. And LunaSea, okay, he's scouting towards the right-hand side. He's setting up his own proxy pylon. He sends out 2 probes, I assume for a pylon. No, never mind. Just a more secure scout here, but LunaSea sees nothing. Sees nothing, confirms nothing. And wait, what? So usually when you go for a proxy Twilight Council, it's for a Dark Shrine, which could have a lot of potential, to be honest, but no, it's gonna be Glaives. Okay. Okay. Let him cook, Pappy, let him cook. Well, so Glaive Adepts are an interesting choice. They do quite well harassing, true, right? They can harass well, they can kill a lot of workers. But in a head-to-head fight, Stalker versus Adept, I mean, I do give it to the Stalkers, as we're about to see here. The Adepts, they shade in, they're denied the shade, they do commit, and now they're going to be cleaned up. At least one of them is going to go down here. I mean, Glaives does help Adepts overall, but yeah, that's going to be another Adept going down. LunaSea building up quite a hefty Stalker count overall. He has yet to really confirm the proxy, but I mean, he has map control. And again, I don't see ChrOmawa really contesting this kind of army anytime soon. Oh, no. I mean, Warp Gate is now finishing up. Does have a shield battery in the middle line. 2 more gateways in position as well. But here comes the army. Here comes LunaSea. LunaSea does move out. Glaives is about to finish. The Adepts are out of position. We need them at home. We need them back home. And Stalkers, they can just walk into the main. And they're going for the Stalkers again. There's only 2. Boys, they have to be pulled. Ay, ay, ay. Gateways are getting depowered. Brutal Artosis Pylon. Gateways are depowered. Adepts, they're across the map. They can't get much done. They need more time. And this is critical damage. Getting 10 probe kills. Ooh, shutting down more of these pylons. Going for the Stalkers. There's 1 Adept left. We do have reinforcing Adepts on the way. Meanwhile, Adepts, they do shade into the main. They make it in. Probes are going to go down. But in pales in comparison to how much losses that ChrOmawa is taking here. Getting into the mineral line. 1 adept left, down to soon to be 0. There's another desperation warp in, but LunaSea does get on top of the army. Getting forced back once again by the probes. Meanwhile, back at home, he defends. Yeah, back at home, he's going to be able to clean this up. The pylon is just too far away to reinforce ChrOmawa. He just doesn't really have much left. He's down to 1 adept, down to 0. The adepts go down. And LunaSea, he should be aware that there's a proxy somewhere. Should be aware. There must be a pylon somewhere. Instead, LunaSea backs off. He's securing himself. ChrOmawa, he's down to 10 probes. Half the economy here of LunaSea. On top of that, LunaSea is on 2 bases. He can make 2 probes at a time. He is looking very comfortable. He's going for his own Dark Shrine. Let's go! I mean, that's what we should have seen earlier. Like, unironically, DTs would have done so well there. As there was 0 detection, whether it's defensively or even offensively or both. Regardless, adepts, they're going to be shading in once again. The wall is open. Yeah, late reaction by LunaSea doesn't wall off. I mean, damage is being done. True. 3 probes. And it's okay. 3 workers go down. I mean, ChrOmawa, he's still down 10 workers. He still doesn't really have much of an economy left over. Once again gets cleaned up, and LunaSea is now just eclipsing ChrOmawa here in the supply. It was a good effort. It was something different, 100%, right? Like, I'm willing to say that. It was definitely something different, something quirky, something out of the norm. Designed to try to catch his opponent off guard, and, I mean, it caught me off guard, but... unfortunately, it just took a little bit too long to really get going, and just the higher stalker count of LunaSea was just too much to handle. Not enough at home. LunaSea, if he wanted to, he could just move out across the map, but he's just playing safe. Just chilling back at home. Adepts say threaten another shade. This time LunaSea is ready. Adepts say do get eyes on the Dark Shrine. Oof. Adepts are cleaned up, and here come the Dark Templar. They're waddling in. ChrOmawa does have a robo on the way, but it's still in production. And LunaSea could just focus the pylon. He could just prioritize the pylon, depower the robo, make sure it does not get up and running. Yep, there we go. He does go for the pylon, does spot the robo. And it is going to be denied. And there is no answer. There is no answer to the Dark Templar. GG, well played gets called, and LunaSea takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Why Hecate of all possible maps? So we didn't want a current map from the current map pool, so that crossed all of that out, and we wanted, I believe, just a map that was relevant to the meta. Didn't want a map that was too old, not one that was too new, you know, right down the middle. That's from my understanding, that was the rationale behind Hecate. I mean, why Hecate over, like, Romanticide, for example? Like, just settled on it for whatever reason. Did just settle on it. Here we go, we're getting into game number 2. Gonna be on Amygdala. Let's go. Let us go. So it looks like the rest of the bracket is still progressing as well. And Amygdala is a new map in the current map pool. This is one of the more vetoed maps in the map pool. We rarely get to see Amygdala. The reason for it is because of the short rush distance by ground, or the rocks, the gold bases as well, the exposed third. There's a lot to get into. But again, happy to see it embraced here early on in the tournament. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the red Protoss player down in the series, but did spice things up in game 1, and I'm hoping for some more spiciness here in game 2. It is a ChrOmawa. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the teal Protoss player from South Korea, leading the series 1-0. It is LunaSea. Here we go, we are setting up. Once again, we do have our 2 gate openers on the horizon. Probes are moving out across the map, and we'll see if either player does commit to a proxy here once again. As I did mention, we do have this gold base here for both players. The interesting thing here about this gold is it is quite exposed. Of course, the mineral line is exposed to the center of the map, which you gain access to by breaking down the rocks or by just dropping over the wall, of course. And you can punish the space very hard. We've seen many times players struggle to maintain the space, especially if they do not have map control. Likewise, this third base here on the right-hand side is also very exposed. There's multiple attack paths, very wide open as well, very awkward and very difficult to wall off and secure. And in general, this is more often vetoed than not. But now we get to embrace it, and we'll see what our players have in store for us. As we do see ChrOmawa going for the probe scout, does get eyes on the one pylon, but where is the second pylon? It's going to be proxied out on the map. I just realized there are destructible... Wait, what? There are unbuildable plates here as well. Interesting. I think what I find interesting here actually is that I believe these plates deny any proxy building outside of a pylon, of course, but they deny like a racks or a factory or a starport here. Specifically, it would have to be further down, and because of that, it actually makes it a little bit more exposed, as opposed to here, which is like a little corner which is tucked away, which would be difficult to like focus down the SCV if it was building it, for example. So interesting. It's something we don't see too often, but yeah, plates not at the natural, but at a proxy location instead. Huh. I didn't notice. I didn't notice it was here. Cool. Like, that's just, yeah, something that that is not common at all when it comes to our maps. But I kind of like the idea. Like, if there is like a more abusable proxy location, the idea of deterring proxies like that, or at least making it a little bit more exposed, is definitely an interesting concept. Definitely is interesting. As Hallucination does move out across the map, gets eyes on the setup. Do you see LunaSea just expanding back at home? Likewise, ChrOmawa going for a Stargate before Nexus. Going for the Oracle. Hallucination does confirm, so LunaSea is fully aware. And it should be setting up. It's going to be on LunaSea to get ready with the shield battery and the mineral line, to get stalkers in position as well. Knocking down those rocks. And we'll see if ChrOmawa can still find some damage. Likewise, it looks like ChrOmawa, he's only going for a... Oh, no, never mind. I was going to say a single Oracle. Second Oracle's on the way, so he's going to double down. Hopefully, he doesn't lose the first one. With 2 Oracles, of course, he can one-shot probes. Even if there's a shield battery in position, probes can still be vulnerable and damage can still be done. Hallucination confirms there is a second Oracle on the way. So LunaSea is fully aware of what's going on. Oracle comes in. He has 2 Stalkers in position. And, oh, we're going for the stasis. Oh! LunaSea does react in time. Does pull away. And LunaSea doesn't take much damage yet. But at least the Oracle is safe and sound, right? At least it's going to be able to gather up energy, build up, come back home, and meet up with the other Oracle. So they can meet up. Setting up back at home as well. Quite a number of I said force fields, quite a number of stasis traps, which again makes sense. We did just have the NG overcharge on one of the Oracles, plenty of energy to work with, so may as well. We'll see if they come into play. Meanwhile, from the side of LunaSea, he did go for a faster Twilight Council instead of a Stargate, so because that, LunaSea will have, well, there's going to be a window where LunaSea has Blink over his opponent. Twilight Council is still just now finishing for ChrOmawa. Oracles, they dip into the natural, they get a Revelation off. LunaSea was ready, does defend. So far, so good. And the question becomes, does LunaSea throw down extra gateways, or does he throw down a third? For the time being, he does have a 3-gate setup, 2 gates in the main and a 3rd gateway on the way. He does move out with additional probes, and this should be to set up a proxy location. I imagine LunaSea is going to be moving out on 2 bases. Does deny one of the stasis traps, the other, oh, the blinks! LunaSea does avoid. Nicely done. 3rd base on the way for LunaSea. And here comes that proxy location. So LunaSea is still expanding and taking a third, but he will be able to reinforce across the map. No proxy gateway, just a regular pylon. And he is pushing. Now, despite having blink over his opponents, I don't see him really doing much here, much damage, especially with all these stasis traps. LunaSea rotates around. He's looking for the third. There is none. Pokes forward. Stasis goes off. Massive connection. Catches out the army. On top of that, the proxy has been found, and ChrOmawa, he's going to completely clean this up. Takes down the pylon, the gateway. That's a kill, not a cancel. You see LunaSea comes in, trying to support his army, trying to save those stalkers. And looks like he will get away. And ChrOmawa, he wasn't quite set up for that. LunaSea does escape. Now, even though that was a nice cleanup by ChrOmawa, he didn't kill any stalkers, and on top of that, he's still on 2 bases. His third is very delayed, is very late. LunaSea is going to be able to take an economic advantage. With that advantage, he's taking up. Charge is on the way, +1 attack as well. LunaSea will have the upgrade lead. And it's going to be on ChrOmawa to bounce back. Now, despite being down in upgrades and down in economy, he can make use of his army. He can try to harass across the map. He has triple. Oh my god, he made a third Oracle. I didn't even notice. But okay. Third Oracle has arrived. ChrOmawa, he can wreak havoc. I mean, the main base looking very exposed. LunaSea is moving out. He does hit the third. Here comes the stasis, and once again, it pops off. ChrOmawa, he does defend. He does hold on. Fake Prism towards the natural. Triple Oracle into the main. Will focus down the cannon. Up! And can go for the probes. Doesn't get many. Going for the pylon as well. Does he have enough energy? I think he does. Massive pickoff delays the upgrades. We'll have to get the hell out of here, though. Ooh, 1 Oracle goes down. A bit of a late reaction from ChrOmawa, but this wasn't too bad. It definitely could have been better when it comes to killing probes. He didn't really get too many worker kills, but he does at least delay all these upgrades and does allow himself to catch up. Catching up in charge, catching up in +1. The gap in upgrades isn't as large as it once was. It's still there, but not too big. As LunaSea is establishing a gold, getting a 4th. And we're still focusing on a very gateway-heavy army. No one has teched into Archons yet, or Disruptors. LunaSea does get the Concave. Oh, gets a Stalker. Gets 1. One Stalker goes down. Players are getting ready. And I'm a little bit surprised that, yeah, we haven't seen any player take up any further than this. Do you have a warp into the main? But LunaSea's ready for this. Rebuild the cannon, go for the Prism. Prism goes down. Nice pick up by LunaSea. Gets the War Prism, shuts down the Zealots. Is set up on 4 bases. The goal base fully saturated. And again, because of this better economy over the course of this game, LunaSea is just getting further and further ahead. Yeah, he does maintain that army lead. And in mirror matchups, very rarely does the soup lie. The soup is here. Looking to deny the 4th. Soup is not lying, Pat. It's not lying. Looking at the other side here, 27 stalkers to 23. Again, Concave still in favor of LunaSea as well. That's a cancel on the 4th. You can see ChrOmawa trying to bait the army in. Up! Oh my god. Trying to bait the army in. Doesn't quite go off though. Stasis traps are still set up. Potentially, even with the supply deficit, ChrOmawa can take a fight. If LunaSea gets caught out, speaking of, oh my god, there are so many stasis traps. Oh my god. Once again, a good start. From here, ChrOmawa, he can either engage with the main army or try to catch out those stasis units. trade there for ChrOmawa. Another stasis up! Once again! They just keep going up! I would love to see ChrOmawa just camp this position. Either camp it or take advantage and just dive in. Like ChrOmawa, he has the supply lead. He can go. He can push in. Send it while you can. Reinforcements on the way. Stasis is running out. I do feel like there have been these opportunities granted to ChrOmawa because of the stasis traps, and he hasn't been taking the full advantage of them. Stasis going off on Zealots. Stasis getting baited out. Nicely done here by LunaSea. This time he does spot them. He has the Observer. And LunaSea, he will overwhelm. Diving into the natural. At the same time, ChrOmawa going for a Zealot counterattack. Going for the 5th. Meanwhile, he's on 3 bases. And ChrOmawa, he just can't afford these losses. There's a DT in the mix as well. Disruptor's on the way, but that might just be too late. It might just be too little too late. As LunaSea is overwhelming the main army, Nova goes off. D's a connection. But there was just the one Nova. Meanwhile, Zealots across the map that were cleaned up. LunaSea defends. He defends, he attacks, he comes in from behind. GG, good luck it's called, and LunaSea will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. LunaSea does take it. He was the favorite player coming into this series, but a shout out to ChrOmawa because he was able to, you know, compete here. He was able to have a quirky build in game 1, and here in game 2 as well, there were some definitely opportunities granted to him thanks to all the stasis traps, thanks to the triple oracle as well. Like, there were definitely some moments for him. Regardless, GG, well played. ChrOmawa does tap out, and LunaSea advances on to the round of 16. And the question becomes, does LunaSea have an opponent? Let's find out. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves.